Hello everyone. I'd like to take you with me on this vlog where I spent time with one of my best friends and share how I personally see divinity in nature. How I believe that the most sacred temples we can encounter aren't built by humans, but are all around us. Sometimes we forget where we come from, but Mother Nature is always here to humble us, to remind us of our own divinity and connection with her. My friend and I wanted to share some time together doing what we love most, communing with the mountains, strolling through the forest, and simply being present without big expectations. We really wanted to go hiking, something we used to do often back in Colombia. But this time, we explored a different kind of landscape. She flew in from Belgium and we met up in Málaga for her birthday. We celebrated with a few drinks and a party at a gay club. And also an unexpected mini hike to a beautiful viewpoint overlooking the city. And then heading off to Granada, where I live. Our first walk to warm up was near the city, a peaceful stroll by the river that led us to a charming little town called Pinos Genil. Where ducks and geese wandered freely. Walks like these, even the simple ones, create a mental space for us to disconnect from our concrete realities and immerse ourselves in the ever-changing rhythm of nature. They remind us that flexibility and change are natural, helping us untangle rigid thoughts and create space for new ways of feeling, thinking, and being. The next morning, we woke up not too early since I slept terribly, but just in time to catch a bus to a nearby town. From there, we started a 5-hour hike, guided only by a free app, a new path for both of us. The beginning was intense, a steep climb through a forest that went on for nearly an hour. But these hard parts are so important. They bring us back to the present, to our breath, pulling us out of the constant mental noise. It felt like a kind of purge, shedding the worries and distractions of city life. In the forest, silence becomes sacred. You start listening to the whisper of the trees, the songs of the birds, the scent of rosemary and thyme carried by the wind. This forest smelled divine, like the earth itself was breathing through the herbs and pines. It felt like a baptism, a return to the pagan roots of humanity, to the worship of the natural world. When I'm in vast, green spaces like these, my small problems fade away. The peace and beauty of the world feels so much larger than any ghosts that haunt us. The trees become archways to our ancestral cathedrals, and the creatures that roam remind us to stay soft, vigilant, and deeply present on our path. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. It was done during my holiday when I was not thinking about work or going live, and it just felt like something I wanted to film and be a bit creative, but then I just didn't want to make a big effort from it. I just wanted to feel natural as the topic that we are talking about. And I think I just want to give like some final words regarding this topic. I know that I talk about this all the time about connecting with nature, and I don't want to sound ableist, because I know that I am very blessed to have a full working body that can actually take these hikes, that can actually walk up a mountain all the time. So I'm very grateful for having a full functioning body. And today I really thought about that sometimes we forget how blessed we truly are to have full functioning legs and bodies to do all of these strong efforts and to experience nature in such a way, and also of having the privilege to be living in a country where I have so much accessibility to spaces like these. So I know that not everyone has these spaces, but if we can create moments or spaces where we do have the possibilities to walk in nature and just be there in its great magnitude and silence and that just natural divinity that contains it. I feel that forests are the OG cathedrals, and trees and natural formations just have this primitive sacredness, this primitive divinity that is just so powerful. And as I talk about it, it is very cleansing. I would not lie. It is exhausting, but I actually feel that the exhaustion is actually part of the cleansing. And I do feel that after having these hikes with my friend, I feel very much recharged. I feel that I got that special contact with my own spirituality, with that divinity that I see there, and I just understand why the pagans celebrated out in these spaces. And I felt very called to trying to do ritual in places like these, deep in nature. When we went into the cave, I was just very enthralled by it. I was just like, wow, this would be such a beautiful space to do magic, to do ritual one day. And I think that is something I really want to put in my bucket list. It is definitely something I really want to do anytime soon. And so I've been doing a lot of journaling, and I got this instant camera from my brother and even took a picture. I don't think you can see it here from the cave, but I want to read some parts of my journaling that I thought was quite interesting. I want to talk about especially about the cave. It's called Cueva de los Mármoles. It was kind of like the main attraction of the hike. It's actually quite far in the hike. I would say it would be kind of considered like the middle point, but I think it is further than the middle point, looking back at it. And then before we get there, I wrote, we walked into a really spooky forest that would lead to the Cave of the Marbles. This place felt out of a fantasy novel or a game. It really made me think of these video games I used to play, like Oblivion, Elder Scrolls. It just felt like I was in this fantasy world, kind of in like a medieval period, where elves and gnomes and just like these magical beings existed. It was timeless. To add to this magical experience, when we arrived to this cave that felt like a place of worship, a sound took us out of our spell, and on top we saw a deer. It wasn't a deer, it was actually an ibex, which are like wild goats here in Spain, mountain goats. It was staring at us, crying to be seen, because it was just making these very cute noises. We both had never seen an animal like this, and a sudden movement in the bushes revealed a baby deer, which I will put right here. Once again, it's not a deer, it's a goat. The feeling of cuteness could not be contained in our bodies. It just felt like too much. Within the cave, the silence was sacred, also a bit eerie, like a Gothic church. I did feel kind of like that sacredness in the space. Like there was just like an intrinsic magic through the textures and just like the overall sound. It's like you kind of wanted to whisper. The fractal formations expressed liquid that had been immortalized. We fantasized about creating home in a place like this. I also had visions of ritual. Yeah, that was kind of what I was like getting at, that being there, I could just see an ancient version of myself worshipping in spaces like these, inside the earth, so sacred, so connected to Mother Nature, so connected to magic. When we exited the cave, we saw once again these goats, and we were just called. We really wanted to get close to them. Obviously, not to do anything, just to see them up close, because we couldn't really detect what animal it was, and we thought it was deer, but it was actually this mountain goat. And so we climbed up the cave and just went kind of towards it, but then we decided to not keep following, fearing just in case the Fae was luring us in to get us lost, because getting to the cave was quite eerie. It was one of those forests that just seemed to go on that you could get lost in, and we were talking about this, about how like gnomes are known to lure you in and get you lost in a dense forest. So we just continued back on the rocky road, where we saw other spots of kind of like these medieval civilizations, like wells, bridges. Getting close to our hike, there was a storm. There was hail and there was rain. I will put some pictures here and some videos of us. And it was funny because we were making fun of the autumn here in Spain, which felt very much like summer. Though up in the mountains, it was a bit cooler. So we're just like, oh, you know, it doesn't rain here. It's so dry. And there was kind of like this cloud most of our hike kind of like following us, and we were just kind of making fun of it. And that is why I should never make fun of Mother Nature, because she took vengeance and released a huge storm upon us, and we were not well prepared for that rain. And so then we were just super cold and freezing, and we just wanted to get back into the town, find a cute little tavern or pub, and just get some coffee and just be nice and cozy, which we did find, but we were so wet and cold. But then we just sat down and we started journaling, and that is kind of what a few of the things I wrote. We were there until waiting for a bus, because the bus that gets to that town only passed every 2 hours. And that was one of the major hikes. After all, we just spent some time here in the city, relaxing here in this room, reading and journaling and just chatting about life. And I hope this video made you feel, maybe it invited you to go into a forest and commune with the spirits that exist there. Thank you once again for watching my video, and leave a comment below. Do you feel tempted to go out on a hike? Do you enjoy doing hikes? Or maybe you don't, but you enjoy watching people do them. So thank you so much for waiting for this video. Hope to see you next week. Bye.